This conference will now be recorded.
Hello guys, welcome back. So now here in this session, I'm going to cover a very important topic of account receivable that is called dunning. So guys, first of all, we'll see what is this dunning. It is also called dunning program. So what is this dunning or what is this dunning program? What exactly the use of this? And then I'll explain how to set up and we'll perform the testing as well. So first of all, try to understand this dunning. Guys, if you talk about dunning, if you're going to search the definitions on Google or anywhere, so you'll be finding that the definition says it's like dunning is going to be used to send a reminder to the customers. I'll tell you guys, see, account receivable means all the transactions which is related to the customers are going to be recorded and it is going to be taken care. Receivable means like whatever the outstanding invoices are there, invoice amount is there, right? Whatever the outstanding balances are there, which is yet to be received. So I'll tell you now, whichever the customers are there, out of which, like, let's suppose 95%, 96% of the customers are pretty good, they're making payment on time. But still, there might be some customers who, due to certain reason, they are unable to make payment on time, or else there might be some different reasons also that even like for certain invoices the payment we have received but few invoices we haven't received because invoice is sent to the customer and the customer like they have forgotten to record might be in their system, and because of that the payment, there is a delay in terms of payment. So whatever the root cause is there, that is a different thing here. But the thing is, like, if you are unable to, in the sense, if Tata Motor is unable to receive the payment on time in case of 5% of the invoices or 2% of the invoices, so of course we have to remind to the customer, we have to remind that your invoice number, like our invoice number so and so is with this much amount is still due or it is overdue by a margin of so much, so and so date. Like invoice become due on like so and so date, and it's now it is overdue by a margin of 20 days, 25 days or 30 days. So still we are waiting for the payment, we have not received the payment, right? So we have to send a reminder later to the customer. Then they will check in their system and they'll get back, and whatever the reason is there, either they'll make payment or else if there is any clarity is required, they will contact to the account receivable team and they will coordinate, and then the payment is going to be released, right? So reminder need to be sent. Now here in this era, like if are we going to send the reminder what to say, like through email or else like manually by writing the letter or typing a letter and all? No. Here, because if I say 5% of the invoices, that 5% also is going to be like several thousands of invoices, or it could be several thousand invoices. So now here one by one, if we started checking like, okay, how many invoices become due or how many invoices are overdue, I'll just put a simple example here so that you guys will be having again a perfect understanding. So let's suppose I'm having a particular customer, again XYZ Limited itself, and in this customer, so multiple invoices against a customer, we are going to post multiple invoices, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 2,000, again 3,500, 7,000. So multiple invoices are there, guys. Multiple invoices are there. Now, so this is your invoice amount. Invoice amount, right? Now, what about the status? So here, so first of all, this is the invoice amount, and what is the status? Status of this invoices. So I'll tell you. Now, status means this invoice become overdue, and this is due. Again, this is overdue, this is overdue, this is due, and it is not due. This is also not due. This is due, not due. Okay. So now overdue by a margin of, so I'll specify here gray stage. Okay. What is this gray stage? Also, I'll explain, guys. Don't worry. So now here by a margin of like certain. So this become overdue by a margin of, let's suppose, 25 days. Okay, and this is overdue means it become overdue today itself. Sorry, this is due means it become due means in current date, today's date itself it become due, right? And tomorrow it is going to be overdue by a margin of 1 day, right? So we'll talk about only what do you say, this overdue, right? Overdue, or we can say like here overdue. I'll just not grace period, guys. Overdue margin. So it become overdue by a margin of 25 days. This become overdue by a margin of 10 days. And this become overdue by a margin of, let's suppose, 3 days. Okay, and remaining whatever this due is there, like it is like today itself, 0 days, right? 0 days. And here not due means it is going to be due. It is going to be due might be after like 15 days. So I'll give you minus 15 days. Okay, it means what is happening, guys? Okay, I'll have to do one thing, guys. I'll specify like this. Then, so minus 15 days. Likewise here, I'll specify minus 10 days, right? And here 0, and not due by a margin of like, let's suppose, minus 5 days. It means what is happening, guys? Tomorrow, tomorrow here the margin is going to be 14 days. Day after tomorrow, 13 days. Likewise, what is happening, guys? The days are going to be reduced, and finally there will be a time where it is going to be treated as a due, and after that it is going to be converted into overdue, overdue by a margin of 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, like that. This is what, that is why I have specified minus 15 days means it is going to be due after 15 days, right? Minus 10 days means it is going to be due after 10 days, and this is going to be due after 5 days. So example is quite simple, guys. Now here I will just do one thing. Let me cut it here. Okay, so I'm going to put it here now. So here, okay, this is the scene. So now let's suppose this is become overdue by a margin of 25 days, this line item, right? And okay, so I'll do one more thing, guys. There is one more scenario, grace day. Okay, grace day means we have given certain grace day to the vendor, sorry, to the customer. Okay, grace day means we are saying that, let's suppose, even if the invoices become due, still we are giving 5 more days additional from our side to the customer, that you have to make payment within these 5 days. Okay, we are not going to escalate the matter immediately the moment it become due. We are going to wait for 5 days or 7 days, whatever it is. That agreement is going to be between customer and Tata Motor. So if they have given 5 days, it is going to be like 5 days is going to be treated as a grace day. It means Tata Motor will wait for the payment for 5 days. So in this case, what is happening, guys? This 5 days grace period is already crossed. Instead of 5, it becomes 25 days, and we have not received payment yet. In this case, here also 5 days is already crossed, and instead of 5 days, it becomes 10 days, and still we have not received payment. So now what is happening, guys? So in this case, we have to send reminder to the customer. Okay, reminder to the customer. Okay, but here this is also become overdue by a margin of 3 days, guys. So still we cannot send reminder. Why? Because we have given already 5 days as a grace day. So still like two more days are there, right? So we have to wait for 2 more days, and then only we are going to send, and then after we can send a reminder later at any point of time. So here for these 2 invoices, what is happening? We have to send a reminder to the customers. Right now, look at here how difficult it is in a customer. If you are going to check a particular customer, in that customer multiple invoices are there, right? Now in every invoices are either due or overdue or not due. So first of all, you have to check the overdue item, and then you have to check how many invoices are overdue by a margin of like more than 5 days. because 5 days we have already given the grace period only. So if it is going to cross the 5 days, then only we can claim to the customer that your deadline is, whatever deadline we have given is finished. Now you are supposed to make payment, right? So it's going to take time. Customer wise, every one by one, if you are going to check each and every customers, let's suppose we are having several thousand customers, so it's going to take too much time. A single resource is not possible to find these all things. You need to hire, like Tata Motor need to hire a resource of, let's suppose, 100, not 100 or 30 or 40 or 50 people. It depends upon like how many number of customers are there, right? More number of customers means more resources are required to check like which invoices are due, which invoices are overdue and all, right? So now this is not required. This is not required. Why? Because if you add this, checking itself is going to take lots of time. So SAP is saying that now we are having a program called Dunning. Okay. So if you run this Dunning program, then system automatically search the invoices. This invoice is eligible and this is eligible. Remaining all are not eligible, right? Not eligible for dunning, in the sense reminder, right? Remaining all invoices are not eligible for sending the reminder later. Only 2 invoices are eligible. So system, if you run this dunning program, system is going to find out this, whatever the, which, first of all, system is going to search which invoices are eligible to send a reminder to the customer, right? There is a one thing. Okay, and manually, what is the challenge, guys? Manually, you need to know these things, guys, right? Manually, this is how you guys will be having a perfect understanding. So manually, what is the challenge? Manually, it's time consuming. It's going to take multiple resources are required, right? So manually, this is what the challenge. Even we are having other challenges also. You should know, so that once I show you the configurations, then you guys will be having a good understanding. So here the first challenge is manually, if you are going to search the status one by one, that how many overdue invoices are there, and that too the invoice which is supposed to cross the 5 days, it's going to take too much time. And second thing is, like, let's suppose if manually we are searching, manually we are searching, let's suppose a limited number of customers are there, so manually you can search, let's suppose, and we have sent the reminder. Then other challenge is also there. Other challenge in the sense, like, how many reminders are going to be sent? 1 reminder, 2 reminder, 3 reminder, 4 reminder. There should be some limits, right? It's not like that we keep on sending reminder and the customer is not listening, or it means they are not responding to whatever the mail or whatever the letters we are sending to the customers. They are not responding at all. So in that case, what is happening, guys? Every organization will have a legal department, so you have to transfer this matter to the legal department. These people will have handle, they are going to send a notice to the customer, and legal notice is going to be sent. That is a different thing, right? So how many reminders are going to be sent? Let's suppose there is a limit that only 3 reminders we are going to send, and in this 3 reminder, if the customer is not making payment, if we haven't received any kind of what to say, let's suppose a response from customer, in that case we'll take the legal actions. So the first challenge is to identify the, like, how many overdue, in the sense how many eligible invoices are there. That is the one challenge, because multiple customers are there. Second challenge is, like, let's suppose for this one we have sent the first reminder. Okay, we have sent the first reminder. So first reminder, what is happening, guys? Little bit like in polite manner, we are going to write like, okay, dear customer, this is to notify you that this invoice number so and so is become overdue by a margin of 25 days. Kindly make a payment as soon as possible, right? If you are going to send the second reminder, then bit harsh language we are going to this is to notify that, like, this is a second reminder which we are going to send because we have not received any what is the response to the first reminder, right? Or else whatever language that is your client is going to let you know, like in what manner they are going to notify the customers, right? And the third reminder means, during third reminder, what is happening? We are going to threat them. Threatening in the sense, like, if you are not going to make payment, then this issue is going to be handled by our legal team, and they will take whatever the required what is the legal actions are there. We are going to take it. Okay, so like that we are going to, like that it is going to be. So now here second reminder we have sent to this customer, right? And let's suppose for this customer first reminder is sent. So next time how we will able to remember that for this one second reminder we have sent and for this one only one reminder we have sent. So this time for this one we are supposed to set second reminder, and for this one we are supposed to send third reminder, right? And next time for this one we have to send third reminder, but this is not this is not included. Why? Because already the maximum we have already three reminders. Deadline is there of three reminders, so three reminder we have already sent. So this is also we need to remember manually. If you are going to, if somebody is going to process this, like these things manually, then this is also they have to remember manually. Again, the other challenge also will be there in manual process, guys. There should be some gap also between first reminder and second reminder, right? There should be some gap also. So how to remember the gap? For this line item, I have sent the reminder on so and so date, and there should be a gap of 10 days. So now the next reminder is supposed to be generated after 10 days only. So look at here, guys, the complexity is going to increase. The moment I keep on adding the new criteria, then the complexities are going to increase. Do you think that it is possible to manage manually? It is not possible to manage manually because the number of customers are there, and in every customer multiple open items are there. So now it becomes very complex to handle this, right? So in that case, what is happening? No need to worry about, because SAP has given a program that is called Dunning program, right? And this need to be configured. This is supposed to be configured. And why configuration is required, guys? Configurations, of course, like a standard program has been given by SAP, but configuration is required. Why? Because it depends organization to organizations, different requirements will be there. Different requirements will be there in the sense, like let's suppose Dunning program is going to be configured for Tata Motors. So Tata Motor is saying that maximum, like let's suppose Tata Motor, okay, Steel. Then I'm having Tata Chemical. So everybody are having different requirement. Tata Motor that I will send only three reminder. Tata Steel says that I can send four reminder. That is the maximum. Tata Chemical says that I'll send till five reminder. Okay. So look at here, the number of reminders are going to vary, right? So during configurations, you have to set up three different dunning procedure for Tata Motor, Tata Steel, and Tata Chemical. Separate dunning procedures are going to be configured, and then this condition is going to be given. Now, what is the gap between first reminder and second reminder? Tata Motors says that there should be first 10 days gap. Tata Steel says 15 days gap. And here Tata Chemical says 20 days. Or else Tata Chemical says that only 7 days gap. Tata, Steel says that only 8 days gap. Here Tata Motors says that 10 days gap. So here number of gap also, like what is the interval between the first reminder? There should be some interval between the first reminder and second reminder. Interval is nothing but the gap. So this is also going to be changed. Now grace period. What should be the grace period? Because if let's suppose if the grace period we are given to the customer, Tata Motor has given 5 days grace period, they have given 6 days, and here Tata Chemical has given 7 days. So the same invoice, let's suppose, for the same invoice, what is happening, guys? Let's suppose in the same invoice will not be there for every company code, guys, but I'm telling, like let's suppose there is an invoice worth of a particular amount, right? So for that, like whatever overdue, it become overdue by a margin of 6 days, right? One invoice become overdue by a margin of 6 days. So for Tata Motor, we can send the reminder but this Tata Steel and Tata Chemical we cannot send, right? Because we have to wait till today, and for Tata Chemical we have to wait till tomorrow, right? So these kind of multiple such kind of things are there, guys. Even we are having options to charge penalty also. Penalty in the sense, like since we are sending reminder, let's suppose if you talk about the companies which is there in Europe, so they would like to, generally they are going to send the letter to the customers. So even here in SAP we are having we are having like what to say, like letter is going to be developed by your technical consultant, and that letter is going to be, that is called Dunning form. And dunning form is going, we are having this functionality. Dunning form will be developed by your technical consultant, and that is going to be assigned to the dunning procedure. So with the help of SAP itself, even the letter is also going to be printed, right? So what kind of contents are there in the letter? Tata Motor will have a different contents, Tata Steel will have a different contents, Tata Chemical will have a different contents, right? So these all things, like if you are going to configure, or if we configure this dunning procedure, then only. So configuration is required, right? We cannot say standard configurations. Standard configurations means, like, let's suppose if something is fixed in the sense like, okay, grace days 5 days only. If Tata Chemical says that no, we are giving 7 days and all, you say that no, this is already predefined given by SAP, only 5 days. So this is not acceptable. In that case, like, the companies are not going to be agreed. They will say no, why should, because we have already tied up with the multiple customers and we have already agreed 7 days and all. So configurations means what we have to do, guys. Standard settings has been standard. This dunning program is given by SAP, but we have to configure as per client's requirement, as per customer requirement. So who is your customer, guys? If we are doing implementation for Tata Motor, then Tata Motor is our customer, right? So as per Tata Motor, we are going to make these settings as per Tata Steel requirement. Whenever we are going to go for rollout for Tata Steel, then for Tata Steel we are going to define a different dunning procedure, and it is going to be for Tata Chemical, it is going to be define a different dunning procedure. And there might be a question in your mind that can we use the same dunning procedure for other company codes, guys? Generally, if you ask me, then to be honest, no, we are not going to use the same dunning procedure, because somewhere you are going to, somewhere some differences will be there, right? Somewhere the differences will be there. Even though, let's suppose here Tata Motor also is going to say 3, this is also 3, and here also, it means all they have decided 3 days, 3 reminder letter. Here the interval between first dunning and, in the sense, first letter and second letter, the gap between first letter and second letter, even all 3 company codes agreed that 10 days, 10 days, 10 days, right? And grace days 5 days, 5 days, and 5 days. Now again the same question, that what about this Tata Motor, Tata Steel, and Tata Chemical? Do we use the same dunning procedure? In that case, also I says that better to avoid. We create a different dunning procedure, because might be in future, if they are going to change the requirement, then what will happen? And second thing is dunning letter. Whatever dunning letter is going to be generated, for Tata Motor, a different dunning form is going to be developed by client, sorry, your technical consultant. And for Tata Steel, different dunning form supposed to be developed, and for Tata Chemical, different dunning form is going to be developed. Even though we are having a functionality here, dunning form is going to be assigned against company code, guys, right? But still, I'll tell you, generally we use a different dunning procedure only. If you talk about the dunning form, we have developed like dunning form A for Tata Motor, dunning for B for Tata Steel, and dunning form C for Tata Chemical. Now there is a question, can't we use the same dunning form? So guys, same dunning form is not possible, because dunning form is nothing but a soft copy, right? A soft copy of format is there, is going to be developed by, because if you talk about the letter is going to be printed. So what is the contents? What contents will be there in the letter, right? So certain fixed contents will be there, and certain variable part also will be there. Variable part, that I'll let you know once I configure the dunning once I configure the dunning procedure, then I'll let you know, right? Variable part means, like, line item is going to be picked by system, invoice is going to be picked by system. So every time invoice number will be different, amount will be different, right? The margin of this, like, overdue margin, right, that is called days in arrear. So that is also going to be different days will be there, right? So that is the variable part. And fixed content means, dear customer, this is to notify you that So these kind of contents, this is called like fixed contents. For every customer, it will be there, but the invoice number, amount, and other details will be different. So certain logic is there, guys, to develop that form, even though like that is not our responsibility. Why? Because that is going to be developed by your technical consultant. Functional consultant, what is our activity? So to what to say, to configure this dunning procedure. Okay, and once the form is going to be developed by your technical consultant, that is going to be assigned. I'll show you practically, guys. You'll be having perfect understanding, don't worry. Right, what I'm saying that there is, so I said like, why can't we use the same running procedure, even though almost all requirements, still for the safer side, generally even the client itself is going to suggest you that better to create a different running procedures for this. And even a different running form is also going to be developed, guys. Why? Because if you talk about Tata Motor is having its own logo. Tata Steel is having different logo. Tata Chemical is having different logo. If the letter is going to be printed, the company logo also supposed to be there, guys. Company address supposed to be there. Tata Motor is having separate address. Tata Steel is having separate address. Tata Chemical is having separate address. Right? The phone number, fax number also is going to be different. Tata Motor is having different phone fax. Tata Steel is having different phone number, fax number. Tata Chemical is having different phone number, fax number. Right? Email ID is also going to be is going to be there. So because if you talk about a particular letter which is going to be generated, in that all the details are supposed to be there, right? So that's what I'm saying, that if you talk about the dunning procedure, always for every company code, a different dunning procedure is going to be created. Okay, I think, guys, for explanations, I can explain, like I can give some more explanations, guys, but uh, it may create some confusion. So I'll just do one thing now. Whatever the remaining things are there, that I'll explain practically itself, so that you guys will be having a good understanding. So I'll stop this theoretical explanations here itself, and in next session I'm going to show you guys how to configure the dunning procedure. So there, that is going to be quite interesting. And again, the testing part, once we have created the dunning procedure and all as per the client requirement, right? So how you will come to know that these things are working perfectly? So of course we have to make testing and all. So those testing is also going to be done. So that is going to be done one by one. So that's all in this session, guys. Next session will show you the configuration part.